Felienne to CodelyTV. We are at Delft Mallorca, and you already delivered a talk about craftsmanship for kids.
Yes.
It could sound a little bit evil, like why? But which is the experiment that you perform?
So we explored the idea of code smells in programs for kids, because as professional developers, of course, we know that code smells can be bad. If you have a very long methods, then it's hard to maintain. But kids start programming earlier. If they're 8 or 9 or 10, maybe they're programming. But what about the code we put in front of them? If it's also very long methods and very bad naming, then they might pick up these skills for a very long time. So we wanted to explore if it actually matters for kids' code smells and how we could battle them.
And why start using Scratch?
So there are many cool programming environments. The reason that we picked Scratch is because it's very widely used. We found that in the public repository there are 18 million programs that we could analyze. They're all Creative Commons, and of course also Scratch itself is open source. So we are now working on a refactoring tool for kids, and we could embed that into Scratch because it's open source. So that makes it, of course, as a researcher, a lot easier to work with if something is available and accessible.
You run already some experiments, like putting some kids in front of a code, of a Scratch code. And what did you saw?
So we found that code smells indeed are harmful to kids, just as they are to adult developers. We explored 2 code smells, long methods, but also duplication, so the same type of code in different places. We found that programs without code smells are easier for kids to read, to understand, and also to maintain, but the different smells do different things. So long method makes it very hard for kids to understand what's going on, to read the program. But duplication makes it harder to maintain the program. So we had some tricky questions like duplication, and then we wanted to change to the duplicated code. And of course what happened is kids would think, oh, I need to make the change here. They're very eager and greedy, and then other clones were disappeared or forgotten.
Other very interesting thing that you mentioned was like there are some types of blocks in Scratch, and there are one specific type about interactions. And in your analysis, you say that you saw that only 44%?
56% has interaction, so 44% has no interaction.
And what's the point, please?
Yeah, so that was intriguing as well, because many people think, oh, programming for kids, it must be games. And I did the same thing when I was teaching kids. You think, oh, they're kids, they must like games. When I was a kid, I liked games, so this is what they like. And of course they do like games, but they also like many different things that Scratch also offers. Like you can use Scratch to make music. And music is also a very good way of teaching some programming concepts, because a loop also exists in music, even in music scripts. You can have repeat, it has a go-to statement. And variables going up and down, you can make a sound. So we often think about games because it's something that appeals to kids, but also music and drawing and stories. You can use Scratch to make animations as well. So not a game at all, just a prince going to a castle, running into a hedgehog and falling in love with it, whatever kids can come up with. So I think one of the takeaways of the talk is also not to focus too much on games. Try to present kids with the building blocks. Like with Legos. Also, if you have a box of Legos, you wouldn't say, let's build a castle. Yes, but I want to build a castle. So let's try to focus on building blocks and see what kids can come up with instead of putting them in a certain box or into a state of mind.
What is the reason to educate from the very beginning about code smells? You know, it was like, because then at the university...
Yes, it's sort of selfish, I said in the talk as well. We want to study how to train good behavior in 8, 9-year-olds, because in 10 years they'll be in my university classroom. And then if I want to teach them about code smells, then it's too late. I mean, it's with many habits we want to teach kids. It's easier if you start a little bit younger, and especially if we know that the code smells hamper their understanding. Why not educate them if it's not only for my benefit, also for theirs.
How do you introduce the concept of code smell to a kid?
Yeah, so we didn't say code smells at all. But we also didn't say it's a bad thing. We presented it more like it's just the thing you do. If you're done with playing, you put your toys in a box. If you make a program, you look at what blocks do I no longer need, and I put them back into the programming box. So we present it as the thing to do. And there's also, I mean, there's some research into that, like smoking or driving without a seatbelt. Sometimes campaigns really focus on it's bad, you shouldn't do it, and that, especially in younger kids or younger people, can get a counter reaction like, oh, I will smoke because it's cool. So the best way apparently to get teens from doing stuff is to say it's not cool. Smoking is not cool. Driving without a seatbelt, it's just not a thing people do. So that's the approach we took with Code Smells as well. Programmers like clean stuff. You just have to clean up your shit. That's the way to do it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for your time and for what you actually do.
Thanks for having me.